Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Easter's coming up soon, so in today's video I did a pastel rainbow half cut crease for those plans you might have. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my videos. Anything I use will be listed down in the description box below. If you'd like to see how I do this, then keep on watching. For my brows, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Brow Lift. To fill my brows in, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo in the shade Soft Brown, and I'm using their number 12 brush. To prep my eyes, I'm going to use the Maybelline Eraser Concealer in the shade 100. The palette I'm going to be using for this look is the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette. It's just got a bunch of different colors in it. I'm going to use this for all of the colors, and I'm using a 213 Morphe brush to place the colors. Also have this Sephora color switch. It allows me to wipe the brush off and it gets some of the eyeshadow color off, so I'll be able to switch between colors. I'm just using this brush to place the colors, and then I'm going to blend them out slowly. The first color I used is yellow. I'm going into the green now. After placing the color, I'm going to go slightly back into that last color and blend them together. The next color I'm using is a teal color. Next shade I'm using is a blue. The next shade is a lavender shade. I'm going to change to a Morphe M562 for the last shade, which is pink. The reason I'm doing that is because it's a half cut crease, so the end of this is going to mostly be the pink shade. And I'm going to build it up slowly so I don't mess with those other colors. And I'm going to start on the lower third and then work my way out towards the purple. And then I'm going to slowly blend it in underneath of the blue. gonna wipe the product off of this 562 brush, and then I'm gonna slowly and lightly blend all those colors together. And I'm not too worried about underneath of it because I am gonna use concealer to cut the crease. So I'm not worried about what happens underneath of the colors, I'm more worried about what happens above. Now that I feel like they're fairly blended together, I'm going to go back in again with the M213 brush, put those colors back in and reblend them out. And I'm going to do that as many times until I feel like the color is there, but it's nicely blended at the same time. Now that I feel like it's fairly blended out, I'm going to start the cut crease, and I'm going to use the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Light Ivory, and I'm using a Morphe 421 brush, and this stuff goes a long way with just like a little bit, so I'm gonna use just like a dab of it. I'm not gonna use very much, like at all, and then I'll build it slowly. Salem, you do realize we go through this every single time I'm recording? You insist on being in here, making a bunch of noise. If you have trouble figuring out where to put like the top of the cut crease, a little trick that I learned from somebody probably on YouTube, it's been such a long time now, is to place the concealer on your lid and then move your eye just like up, and it'll give you where the top of that cut crease is gonna look the best. See how I did that? You can see where like it hit. That would be the top of where I put that cut crease at. And I'll just follow that line like around. So I'll like just curve it out. To set that concealer on my eye, since I'm not putting any more eyeshadow on it, I'm going to use a translucent powder. This is the Hydra Perfect by L'Oreal Paris. The brush I'm using, it really doesn't matter what brush I'm using because you can use really any fluffy brush for the setting powder, but I'm using an e.l.f. blending brush. And I'm just going to place that right on that concealer. I'm using the lightest amount because I don't want it to disrupt the other colors on the eye. I just want to use it for the concealer. Another thing about doing cut creases, especially if you have deep set eyes or if you have hooded eyes, don't raise your eyebrows. Don't do this. Relax them, because you look like you don't always have your eyebrows raised unless you just do that all day. I don't do that. But make sure you relax your eyebrows before you do the cut crease or it won't work out. Now that my eyes are most of the way done, I'm going to do my face next. For primer, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and I'm using a BS Mall round face brush. For concealer, I'm going to use the eraser concealer that I used on my eye. I'm going to use it for the rest of my face as well. Probably need a lighter concealer now that the sun's been out a lot more. I'm getting a little bit more tan, so it's not as light as it used to be. I think the e.l.f. concealer that I have is a little bit lighter, so I'm going to use like the lightest amount. I'm actually just going to use my finger for this because this goes on so much. I'm going to lighten that up a bit. The e.l.f. concealer also gives me more coverage than I like, so I don't always like using it. For contour, I'm going to use the NYX Wonder Stick. I think I'm finally getting better at my nose contour. I'm not making it too dark every single time now. The brush I'm going to use to blend the contour out is a JS3 brush. For blush, I'm going to use the PLouise Basic Cosmetic Base in the shade Blowing Bubbles. I've been using this for like the past 3 videos, like 3 to 4 videos. I love it. I think it's great. And because I don't really have many blush options, I'm trying to get more, but I don't have a lot of money. So I'm just using a round face brush to blend this out. I have learned with this stuff, if you let it sit too long on your face, it will create like a patch. So like, you see how I do the dots like that? If I let that sit, it will leave those dots there. Even though it'll blend out, there will be like dark spots in it. So if you're using this, try to blend it out as soon as you can. Don't like let it sit. I want to do freckles today, so for freckles I'm going to use the e.l.f. contour palette that I have, and I'm just going to use a very pointed BS Small brush. And I'm using the darkest shade in the contour palette. I already have a lot of freckles, I just like adding more sometimes. Oh my goodness, that was a lot. I'm going to wet a blending brush with some setting mist. And I'm going to use the tip of that blending brush to blend that out. This also picks up the excess product so they won't be so dark. To set those creams, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Setting Mist. Oh, just breathe that in. Ugh. Ugh. Taste it disgusting. And as that dries, I'm going to use a JS1 brush and just kind of dab that into my skin. And this will help blend out all those other products and blend them together. For setting powder, I'm going to use the Hydra Perfect by L'Oreal Paris. And I'm using a Morphe Tapered Fluffy brush. For bronzer, I'm going to use the, oh my god. For bronzer, I'm going to use the Hourglass Bronzer Luminous Bronze Light in Ambient, and I'm going to use an e.l.f. pointed powder brush. Because those other powders covered up the blush a little bit more than I wanted, I'm going to use a powder blush, and I'm using the Morphe Blush Palette. And the shade I'm going to use is called Hot. To blend those powders together, I'm going to use a Bare Minerals Supreme Finisher brush. And this doesn't have any product on it. I'm just going to use this to kind of blend everything in. Now I'm going to finish my eyes. I forgot to put more pink into it after I cut my crease, so I'm going to go back in with a 562 brush and I'm going to lightly dust that pink back in. And I'm just using this to blend the concealer and the pink together, not necessarily using it to add more product. Now I also want to take this color underneath of my eye now. For my waterline, I'm going to use a NYX Vivid Bright Eyeliner, and this is the shade, I have no idea how to say this, WeHo? It's spelled W-E-H-O. I don't know how to pronounce that. For mascara, I'm going to use their Real by Benefit. For highlighter, I wanted to use something I haven't used before. I'm going to use the Brain Freeze Skin Frost Pro Palette by Jeffree Star, and I don't think I've ever used the Freeze Tag shade in it, so I'm going to use that shade for this. And this is really pigmented, so I'm going to use just like a little bit. because I want the eyes to be the main focus on this, I'm not going to do too much on my lips. I'm going to use the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme. It's just a lip gloss, but it's also a lip plumper. I'm going to use that and just make my lips a little glossy. Last thing I'm going to do is use the Dewy Coconut Setting Mist again and set everything. So that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I like hearing y'all's feedback, so please comment down below with anything you'd like to tell me or any future videos you'd like to see. Have a happy Easter, and until next time, bye.